Shrouding the Dead. 546. It is obligatory fard to shroud every deceased Muslim, whether male or female, with a garment that covers the body. Muslims who fail to fulfill this obligation are considered sinners. There are 3 ways to shroud the deceased. The first is shrouding according to the Sunnah, which consists of 3 layers for men: a kamis, an IZAR, and a LIFAFE. For women, IT consists of these 3 pieces plus a headscarf and a chest cover, making 5 layers. The second is KEFEN-I KIFAYET. For men, consists of an IZAR and a LIFAFE. For women, this is supplemented by a head covering. The third is the Kefan-i Zaruret, which consists of a single layer for both men and women. In this case, the deceased is wrapped in any available piece of clothing. However, one should not settle for such a single layer shroud unless IT is absolutely necessary. 547a. Rush mat is equivalent to a shirt. IT extends from the tasmat neck to the feet. IT has nitrogen monoxide sleeves or collar, and its edges are not hemmed. The IZAR, on the other hand, functions as both underwear and a skirt, extending from head to toe. The LIFAFE, meaning a wrap, also extends from head to toe, but its head and foot ends are tied in knots. Thus, IT is longer than the IZAR. 548. It is more virtuous for the shroud to be made of white cotton cloth. Traditionally, ITEs, also made from white cotton cloth. A new shroud and a washed one are the same. Shrouds for women can be made of silk or from cloth dyed with saffron and usfur dyes. Shrouds should be as beautiful as possible and befitting the dignity of the deceased. Men's shrouds should be of a quality comparable to the clothes they wear on Fridays and holidays, while women's shrouds should be of a quality comparable to the clothes they wear on days when they visit their fathers. This is a standard. Choosing a shroud larger than the amount prescribed by the Sunnah is disliked, especially if there are needy people or children among the heirs. ITEs, unacceptable. 549. Before the shrouds are wrapped around the dead, they are incensed a few times with fragrant substances. First, the LIFAFE is laid out inside the coffin or on top of something, like a mat or rug. Then the IZAR is spread out on top of IT. Then the deceased, wrapped in the KEFEN shroud, is placed on top of the tal. IZAR, in this case, if the deceased is a man, the IZAR is first brought to his left side, then to his right, and wrapped around him. After that, the LIFAFE is also wrapped in the same manner. If there is concern that IT might unfold, the shroud is also tied with a belt. If the deceased is a woman, her hair is parted into and placed over her chest on top of the shroud. A head covering is then placed over this, covering her face as well. Afterward, the IZAR is wrapped around her. The chest cover is then tied over the IZAR. Afterwards, the LIFAFE is wrapped around. The chest covering may also be tied after the LIFAFE. 550. Regarding the shroud, boys and girls nearing puberty are treated as adults who have reached puberty. For children who have not yet reached puberty, the shroud consists solely of the putani, IZAR, and LIFAFE. Or it may be made in a single layer. It is better to provide 3 sets. 551 EACH. Person's shroud is to be paid for from their own property. Shroud expenses take precedence over debts, bequests, and the rights of heirs. However, no expenses for the shroud may be incurred from property left as collateral for a debt. The right of the creditor takes precedence. If a deceased person has left nitrogen monoxide property, the cost of the shroud belongs to those to whom they were obligated to provide maintenance while alive. If nitrogen monoxide such person exists, IT is covered by the TREASURY. If this is not possible, the need for a shroud is met by the Muslim community. 552. The shrouds of women belong to their husbands, even if they are wealthy. The fatwa is based on this. According to Imam Muhammad, the funeral and burial expenses of women who leave nitrogen monoxide property belong to those obligated to provide their maintenance. If the women have property, the expenses are covered from that property. This is also the case according to Imam SHAFI'I. 553. If one of the heirs carries out the funeral preparations and burial of a deceased person, they may recover these expenses from the estate. However, if a stranger, who is not an heir, even if they are a relative of the deceased, makes these expenses without the heirs' permission, they cannot recover the expenses from the estate, whether or not they take an oath stating that they will recover the expenses from the deceased estate. The ruling remains the same. 554. If a deceased person's grave is open and the shroud is stolen, the following applies. If the body is not decomposed, has not begun to rot or decompose, it is rewrapped in a shroud. If the estate has not yet been divided, this shroud is paid for from the estate. If the estate has been divided, IT is provided by the heirs.